Dear student, today we are going to start a new chapter. That is chapter number 10, gravitation. Okay. So as the name suggests, gravitation means we are dealing with the forces. Okay. Now first thing is, what is gravitation, or you can say what is gravitational force. So suppose there are two bodies. One body is having mass m1 and there is another body having mass m2. If the body having the masses, there is an attractive force acting between the two bodies. There is an attractive force acting between the two bodies who have some masses. This force is called the gravitational force, and this phenomena is known as the gravitation. So basically, gravitation is a natural phenomena. That is basically the force that is acting between the two masses. The force that is acting between the two masses is known as gravitational force. And this phenomena is known as the gravitation. Okay, so you know that Earth is revolving around the sun, and the moon is revolving around the sun, and planets are revolving around the sun. So one term is known as the centripetal force. Suppose this is the Earth, okay, and this is the moon, which is revolving around the Earth. Okay. So there is a gravitational force between the Earth and the moon. Okay, there is a gravitational force between the Earth and the moon. The moon is attracting the Earth, and Earth is attracting the moon. Okay, so action and reaction are equivalent, opposite. Okay. Now what happened, student? There is a force that is acting toward the center. There is a force that is acting toward the center, that is responsible for holding the moon in its position, is known as the centripetal force. Centripetal force means there is a force that is acting toward the center, and that is responsible to hold the moon in this position. That is known as the centripetal force. Now, if you release, suppose if you tie a stone, so suppose it is you, okay, so it is you, okay, and you tie a stone and revolve the stone with a greater force. Now you can feel that if you make the stone faster and faster, you apply the more force to hold the stone. So you are applying the more force to hold the stone. That type of force that is acting toward the center is known as the centripetal force. Okay. Now we move on to another topic, that is now there is a question. So let's suppose this is the Earth. And an apple is falling. This is apple. Apple is falling towards the Earth. Now the question is that, according to the Newton's third law, we know that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So here Earth is attracting the apple. In the same way we can say that apple is attracting the Earth. So in the same way we can say that apple is attracting the Earth. But we see the motion in the apple only. We don't see any motion in the Earth. Why? So we can use the two laws. That is, first is the Newton's third law. That is, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And according to the Newton's second law, F equal to force equal to mass times acceleration. So here force is constant, so we can write ma is equal to F, or m equal to F upon a. Here we came to know new thing, that mass of the object is inversely proportional to acceleration. What does it mean? If you increase or you can say acceleration of the object is inversely proportional to mass. Both are the same thing. If you increase the mass, then surely acceleration will decrease, and if you decrease the mass, surely acceleration will increase. So that reasoning is used in this type of question. So why the apple is according to the third law, if the action and reaction are equal and opposite, why the apple is moving, the Earth is not moving, because the mass of the apple is very less as compared to the mass of the Earth. Because the mass of the apple is very less as compared to the mass of the Earth. So we see the only acceleration only in the apple, but not in the Earth. although they are the same force acting between the Earth and the Earth. Okay, so that is a reasoning we are simply for the reasoning for that. Now, universal gravitation law. So what does this law says? We are going to learn universal gravitation law. So what does this law say? Suppose you are having the two bodies. This is the mass m1 and another body mass m2. So you know that if the body is having the masses, they are going to attract each other. So they are attracting from their center. Okay, they are attracting from their center of mass or center of area. Okay, center of mass you will learn in the 11th class. Okay, so they are right now you can assume that they are attracting. They are this force of attraction lies at the center. At the center. Now what happened? This mass try to pull this mass, want to attract this m2 mass, and this m2 mass want to attract this m1 mass. So they are the force of attraction. That force of attraction is directly proportional. According to the universal law of gravitation, that force of attraction is directly proportional to the product of mass. And that force of attraction inversely proportional. Suppose d is the distance between the mass m1 and m2. That force of attraction is inversely proportional to the square of distance. So that is the statement of the basically Newton's universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation simply says that the force acting between the two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses, and the force acting between the two objects is inversely proportional to the square of the distances. So we can write force. Here we can write force proportional to product of the mass and square of the distance. Or we can say force is equal to some constant g. That is the gravitational constant upon d square, where g is the gravitational constant. So its value is fixed. The value of g is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. So what should be the unit? Its unit is Newton meter square on kg square. That is its unit. Okay, Newton meter square upon kg square. That is the SI unit of g. Okay. So in this way, the universal law of gravitation has been finished. Now, what is the importance of the universal law of gravitation? Because there are lots of things which are explained by this law. Why we are binded toward the earth? Because all of us are binded toward the earth. This binding or this attractive nature is could be explained by the Newton's law of gravity, or you can say universal gravitation law. The revolving of the planet around the sun can be explained with the help of the universal gravitation law. The rise of the tides can be explained with the help of the universal gravitation law. So it is quite important it plays very important role in our daily life too. So it is very necessary to understand what is universal gravitation law. Again, I am repeating, the force is directly proportional to the product of the mass, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distances. Okay. Now we move toward the next topic, that is free fall. So whenever the object is falling under only the effect of gravity, gravitation force, means object is falling under only one force is acting on this object, that is gravitation force. In that case, we say that body is under free fall. What is free fall? We are defining that free fall. So let I release this chalk. This chalk is falling under the effect of only gravitational force. So whenever any object falls only under the effect of gravitational force, that object is said to be free fall. Now you know that if I release this chalk, it will fall down. So there is some acceleration produced in this chalk. So and that acceleration produced by the gravitational force. So the acceleration produced in the object due to gravitational force is known as gravitational acceleration, or acceleration due to gravity. So this object is falling with a acceleration, which is also known as the acceleration due to gravity, because this that acceleration is produced by the gravitational force. So the acceleration which is produced by the gravitational force is known as acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Now, whenever the object falls, so suppose this is the surface of the earth, this is the surface of the earth, and this object is falling. So we can have the two reasoning. We can give the force of attraction by the universal gravitation law, and we can also equate the force by ma. Okay, so we have the two relation F equal to ma equal to mg, where g is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, and F is equal to, suppose this is the mass of earth, this is the mass of Apple. Okay, and F is also given by the force acting between the Apple and earth is also given by the g into product of mass, universal law of gravitation, mass of Apple into mass of earth divided by, suppose the distance is r, so r is. Now you can see that ma or mg, where n is the mass of Apple, where m is the mass of Apple. So here you can see the two equations. Here you can see the two equations. On the left hand side the force is common. On the right hand side there are two equations. So we can equate these two equations. Okay. So we can equate these two equations equally because LHS is constant. So ma into g equal to g into ma and ma divided by r square. Now this ma cancel out and g will be g ma divided by r square. Okay. Now here from this equation a very important result we are obtaining. What result we are obtaining? We are obtaining this result. G is proportional to mass. G equal to g me divided by r square. So we can say that G is proportional to mass of earth, and G is inversely proportional to the distance, square of the distance. Okay, so square of the distance. Now if we take this distance, because Apple is at a distance some sort, means suppose what I want to say that suppose this is the earth and this is the Apple and this is the radius of earth. Now you are applying, because radius of earth is very large quantity, it is of thousands of kilometers. So if you add on 1000 kilometers, if you add 1 meter or subtract 1 meter, it makes no difference. So we can assume this distance as the radius of earth. So here we can write G equal to BME divided by R square, where R is the radius of earth. What I am trying to say, you are getting me? The radius R, first of all, this is the distance RE, because we know that from the apple, the force between the apple and earth is acting from the center, and initially I have said that there is acting from the center, so it is the radius of earth. So here radius of earth plus this distance. So this distance is very small, because in this view it seems to be large, but this distance is very smaller. So adding this distance and referencing this distance makes no difference. So here we can say that this is R square can be replaced by the radius of earth. Okay, you are getting my point. What I am trying to say is that this is the distance between the two objects, between the apple and the earth, because they are acting between the centers. The distance is taken between the centers. Now, what I want to try to say that we are getting the two relations, that acceleration due to gravity, or suppose this is the duster, and the acceleration which is produced in this duster is dependent on the two factors, mass of the earth and radius of the earth. And mass of the earth is also a constant. Mass of the earth on earth, the mass of the earth will not change, and radius of the earth will not change. Means here the acceleration, this object, the gravitational force produces acceleration in this object, but it is independent. But this gravitational acceleration is independent of the mass of this object. Means this means that if you release a 100 kg object and a 10 gram object from a 10 meter height, they will both reach at the same time. Why? Because the acceleration due to gravity is not dependent on the mass of the object. That is very important result that we are getting. The acceleration due to gravity is independent of the mass of object. If you release an object which is 100 kg and 10 gram from a same height, they will reach the earth at the same time. Now another effect we can, so this is the one result. This is the one result that G is independent of mass of object. And second, G is inversely proportional to the radius square of the radius of the earth. What does it mean? It means that, so I can have this. It means that the shape of the earth is oval. So here, and the equator, the radius is more. This is the radius of earth, this is the radius of earth. But as you can see, the shape of the earth is oval in shape. So here the radius is small as compared to the radius of earth and equator, because there is a difference of radius. Here the radius of earth is small, and on the equator the radius of earth is more. Now what does this relationship suggest? If the RE is more, the G will be less. Okay, if RE will be less, if the radius of the earth will be less, then G will be more. So from this reasoning, you can say that if the radius of the earth is more, then the acceleration due to gravity here, G is less. Okay, G is less. Here the G is less. And if the radius of earth is smaller, then the G will be larger. So here at the poles, the G will be larger. So there is a difference of the acceleration due to gravity at the poles and at the equator. Why? Because at the equator, the radius of earth is big as compared to the radius of earth at the poles. Okay, so that's for today. And how to calculate the value of G? So G can be calculated by this relationship: G equal to G M E divided by R. So if you will put the value of mass of earth and radius of earth and this value, because these all are the constant, the three values are the constant, so you will get the value is 9.8 meter per second square. So student, this is a very simple topic, and I hope, hopefully you understand. I hope that, okay. And if you have any doubt, then you can directly call me, and or you can have a message in the WhatsApp group.